The crusade marches on. I'm out of wrath. Glorious! Bleed, you filth! Vengeance! I guess that's how we do it in Kingsport. No matter what you craft or what you loot, your friends always have better gear than you. Screw this RNG, man, I'll be grinding all night until my gear looks right. Let's fight. Hold up, wait a minute. Yeah, my gear was good a week ago. Patch 212. Guess they added ancient items, so now the thrill is on. I've been waiting long for some new items or some new sets that make me hella strong. Season 1 is gone. I ran some rifts. I grinded them blood shards. Yeah, Kadala was hating. She made it way too hard. Yeah, I got loot from monsters, but most of it's in the dumpster. Kept on salvaging items, I'm weeding through them imposters. Yeah, my stash is a mess. I'll hoard it just like a goblin. Either you give us more stat space or we'll just keep bringing alts in. You wanna pay for more tabs? Well, that could be a great option, but with no confirmations, I'm leaving mail straight inboxing. Cause see, season 2's where the action's at. I'm ready to go to hell and back, taking it back to level 1. I think I'm actually having fun. Whoa, I'm sorry. I know that's not popular on the forums, but until season 3 arrives, I'm gearing up for my demise. That's that hardcore life.
Can't stop Leviathan. Flow's too sweet. It just keeps coming. I don't know where it's coming from.
Holla at your boy.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, for you hip-hop noobs like me, I found out afterwards this is, or maybe you could introduce the actual song that you parodied with this.
Yes, yeah. So if you guys are familiar with Community or Derek Comedy, Donald Glover is a star on both of those, and he also decided to take up a rap career and go under the moniker of Childish Gambino, which we were actually talking about before the show. You can make your own Wu-Tang name if you search up the Wu-Tang name generator, and I guess that's how he got that name for himself. But that's his hit song 3005. It's a big radio jam.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think your parodies are just getting better, and you might want to consider a career, compete with Weird Al.
Maybe I can get into a sweet rap battle with him, like do
an epic rap battles of history.
Yes, exactly.
I keep sending in submissions like Tyrael versus Michael. And,
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, they never get picked.
Material, yeah. They haven't done. Have they done anything Blizzard related?
No.
That's a shame. They need to get on that. Yeah. Speaking of Blizzard, what did you guys do in video games this week?
Video games. I can go first.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this past week, I played some Diablo 3, as per usual. And because the Thanksgiving break happened, that meant I didn't have to go to work Thursday and Friday, and so I spent even more time in Sanctuary than usual, which was awesome.
Is this mostly on PTR?
No, live actually. So it's weird because I enjoyed the PTR for a long time, and by a long time I mean not that long of a time. I played it for like a day straight, and because the drop rates were insane, it basically simulated a ton of time. But I realized that if I kept playing with that, I was just going to spoil myself. And also, I really needed to farm for a Ring of Royal Grandeur, and the queue times were absolutely stupid. So it just wasn't happening. And I decided that I would basically go and make that video when we talked about the Holy Hoover Crusader. I would just do that video on PTR and be done with it. So that was the last thing I did on there. And then I went back to live because I still have goals with that. Like I'm still working on my Demon Hunter now on live, and I got her up to Greater Rift 35, which is about like rank 400-ish on the leaderboards. So I have aims of trying to get her into the top 100 before season 1 is over. So I still have interest in live, but the PTR like spoiled me so much on Greater Rifts because it feels so much better. I was talking to Nineball about this earlier today. It just feels so much better doing them in there. So it's a little tougher to motivate myself.
And you should probably clarify, it's not like about the legendary drop rates or anything.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
So it was just, it's the automatic assumption is like the 2000% legendary drop rates, but on the PTR, the actual just amount of mobs, the mob density, and you don't have those giant, dead zones within your rifts, it really makes for a lot more cohesive experience.
Absolutely. It really feels better. Like I would almost, because now we know what it's going to be, you can kind of look back at season one, and Greater Rifts almost feel punishing in the fact that they're not as rewarding. They're a lot more RNG dependent, and it just feels like almost a punishment. Like you only do them because you want to get on the leaderboard essentially and level up your gems to some degree. But I don't know, like they're supposed to be the challenging content, but they're not fun to do as they currently exist. And so I'm hoping and feeling like with the PTR changes and what we're seeing, that it's really going to push us more towards doing Greater Rifts than we might even be doing Torment 6 runs in the future. And one thing I did want to mention, because I forgot to mention it last week, was that I have awesome friends, and since I didn't get to go to BlizzCon, they mailed me stuff that they got at BlizzCon. So they sent me this poster that got signed by some of the devs that you might be able to see. They
that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, and they feel like Leviathan on there. I was super stoked. And they also sent me the dead treasure goblin, which is awesome. So I just wanted to say thanks to Dark and Vesa. They're both mainly World of Warcraft players, but they follow the Blizz Pro coverage and stuff, and they just decided to do that out of the kindness of their hearts. So thank you so much.
That is awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I also hopped onto the PTR this week. We were all playing alts, and chat wanted me to play a barb or monk, and I just felt like whirlwinding, I guess. So I rolled a barb and got to 70 in about 4 hours with the 300% XP increase. Which I'm glad I did, because that was on Monday, and then that night they got rid of the buff, which was really sad. It like came out of nowhere, I guess. I was so excited about leveling up, or about like gearing out that barb and like trying out some of the barb sets, but I don't know. I'll have to wait until sometime. The buff was like playing Diablo in fast forward though.
It really was, yeah.
So I was like fully legendaried out for most of my leveling session. I was ignoring yellows by the time I was like level 23 or something, and yeah, it was cool, like switching up builds based on legendaries as if I was max level. Ended up doing some frenzy build because I got the undisputed champion that gives you all the runes on frenzy, and I got I can't remember the name of the weapon that makes it so frenzy can stack 10 times.
Oh, Remorseless? Is that the one?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know barbs that well, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I might go back in there on a monk. I was thinking about rolling a monk next season if you guys don't. I don't usually play melee, but I feel like maybe one of us should test out these season 2 monk changes.
Well, yeah, you'll have good reason to with some of the stuff we'll talk about later on today.
Yeah, wizards aren't quite getting that much until probably season 3, so maybe monk's where it's at.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I wanted to go through and kind of test out the Witch Doctor, just because they're definitely not as anywhere near as powerful as what Demon Hunters are, and just give it a whirl, see what some of these changes are like. Is it going to be more worthwhile? Though some of the things that we've seen from the PTR, though, a lot of the top players aren't like really competing, but there hasn't been much of a shakeup in the Greater Rift rankings so far.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much that Wormwood makes a difference with Witch Doctors. I wonder if that's going to be like the go-to weapon. But yeah, wrapping up my week in gaming, yesterday was very excited. Every Tuesday night I get together with some friends and we have raid night, which we rarely raid, we just call it that. It's the one night where we all like get together and play WoW together. And I was so excited. I got my house cleaned, and we got some beers and some food. And
oh, you mean they come over locally?
Yeah, just
awesome.
RL friends. These are friends you can see.
Social interaction?
Yeah, it's really weird.
What is this?
It's kind of threatening because they're like there and real, but you get used to it after a while. It's kind of like they're just online or something. And I was so excited. They got over at like 4 p.m. and we were ready to raid, but the internet was not ready for us. As some of you might have heard, Blizzard was DDoS attacked. And I guess now some other gaming companies are by this group. You know what? Maybe we don't say the group name. That's what they want, right?
That is what they want.
Yeah, by the group Douche Nozzles. That's the official name. And Douche Nozzles, yeah, trademark. They totally messed up the servers, and you couldn't do anything. I think 9ball felt the pain a little bit as well.
Yeah. Because I was hoping that my week in gaming would talk about how well my guild did in raiding last night, but that didn't happen at all because my server Gilneas was down. No one could do anything.
Yeah. I was able to kill the new world boss somehow, and then today I got to raid. But last night was mostly spent playing South Park: Stick of Truth and watching Key and Peele.
That sounds like an amazing day.
Yeah, it was still fun.
It's a good alternative for sure.
But we were sad we didn't get to do the new raid.
That's like one of those things when I'm like browsing through videos on YouTube. As soon as I see a recommendation for Key and Peele, next hour is gone.
Yeah, I don't know how they put out so much content and like so many of their sketches are hits. Sorry to get sidetracked there, but I'm just really impressed by them too.
That's legit.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting too, actually, that the DDoS not only happened for your guys' raid night, but it was also occurring over the Thanksgiving break to some degree too. I believe it was,
Yes, it was.
Saturday night, either Saturday or Friday night. It all blurs together at this point. But actually, Hometown Hero, who's in chat, I was playing with him, just doing a couple of runs, and it was actually the first time I took my DH into a multiplayer game. We did a couple of T6, and then I went out to go get some groceries because I was running low on stuff. This was Friday night, actually, I remember, because it was after Thanksgiving and everything opened back up. And during that time that I took my break, the DDoS attacks started happening, and I was like, oh crap, lucky for me that I wasn't there, because I could have died. And then Hometown Hero was like, I did die.
Too soon.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's so, I mean, we don't have to get into it, but it's just so frustrating to see selfish acts like that. It's like, the gaming community already has enough problems, from time to time. But when you have something awesome like the WoW expansion, I'm seeing so many people have amazingly positive things to say, despite all these issues with the servers and stuff. Just have it on top. It's just so unfair,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the news article, but it was in the news a few days ago that this girl who was stalked, I guess, so to speak, by one of the people from Gamergate. He threatened to rape her, and anyways, the way she responded was the real story. She found him on social media, got his mother's information, and contacted his mom and shared what he had posted on Twitter. And, and then I guess she went off on him.
Yeah, because wasn't it like he was like 14?
Yeah, turns out he was. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though. I thought that was an appropriate response.
Kids, when will they learn?
No raping.
No.
That
sounds oddly like our pre-show.
Yeah, no.
9ball, save us with positivity.
Yeah.
What happened in your week in gaming? Good stuff?
Yes, there was good stuff. I unfortunately had a lot of distractions going on, so I wasn't able to do as much actual gaming as I wanted to do. I played Garrisons of Draenor. And that's about all I managed to do is just do garrisons. So because of the tax and server issues, I wasn't able to raid last night. I was going through and playing around on the PTR, running some Greater Rifts on my Demon Hunter, and then I wanted to go through and start leveling up a Witch Doctor. I got him, I think, to 30 before they actually cut the buffs and such. So now I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to go and do it the hard way because I am lazy. But I have been trying to make a push because I was out for so long with the Warhammer Fantasy League that I'm in. So I used most of the extra days I got off for Thanksgiving going down to the hobby shop and playing and trying to get my ranking up there and just absolutely killing everything with skeletal archers. If that means anything to anybody listening, you'll hopefully have an idea of what it is that I'm saying. For everyone else, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
I just generally like skeletal archers. Has nothing to do with Warhammer.
I was actually just going to say this is probably the only Diablo podcast where skeletal archers are actually a powerful thing.
Yes, though much like in Diablo, they're only powerful because I run like 60 of them.
Oh, yeah, 60 skeletal archers can be pretty dangerous in Diablo.
Yes.
Very true. Well, good stuff, man.
Yeah. That about covers it as far as my weekend gaming. Not a lot, many interesting things going on.
That sounds kind of like the Diablo news.
Indeed, not much until today. Really, not much to report on. The main things from last week, a story that JR actually picked up on the website, was the PlayStation event that's happening out in your neck of the woods, Archon.
Yeah, the PlayStation Experience. And they're gonna. I guess some of the devs. Did they say which devs are gonna be there?
I believe Josh is gonna be there.
Yeah, he made a little video.
Yeah, he's in the video. He better be there.
Right? He's like, "Hey guys, I'm announcing this thing. But won't see you there."
I'm pretty sure that the video did say. Obviously, he was speaking in the video, but he did say that he was going to be there.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been speculating, and I think we'll continue to speculate now about what they might be talking about. Maybe Dainty could help us in speculating a little bit.
Oh, right, there she is. She does confirm that Josh will be there. And what we do know at this point is that they're going to primarily be talking about the Ultimate Evil Edition, because that's primarily on the PS4, but also on the Xbox. And they will be announcing some of the new features that are coming to the console version. And we're contemplating if they might actually drop any new nuggets of information, that maybe features that are not planned for the next patch to come to the PC that we might see on console instead.
Yeah, because a lot of the discussion that I've seen so far is going to be kind of patch 2.1.2 or some way of getting the season only items into the console versions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll just get them right in, or if it'll be after the season ends. But yeah, we were trying to guess, like, is it just going to be the PC stuff, or are they going to announce stuff that's specific to the console? And just the way they've used like the console and the PC as a testing platform for the other version makes me think that they'll keep doing that. Like, it seems like it's been pretty successful so far, so I don't see why they wouldn't keep throwing things in on the console to just see how they do before bringing them to PC.
I do agree.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll hear about some really cool new stuff, and we'll have it for you for next show. Or maybe we can get some news during our D2 stream. Yeah.
Which, if you don't remember, we will be having a Diablo 2 stream this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We definitely invite you to come and join us, as well as send us an email if you want to play with us, because it will be the three of us plus five of our viewers or listeners. If you want to, be in the running, send an email, and that will give you a step ahead. We'll try and get, anyone that sends an email first, and if we still have more people to fill in, we'll definitely grab from chat live at the time.
Yeah.
Indeed. Westmarch Workshop at BlissPro.com.
Yeah. How far do you guys think we could? I guess we don't know how long we've been playing for, but I can't even remember how long it takes to play through all 5 acts of D2.
I think if we play for 2 or 3 hours, we should be lucky to get Andariel down.
Oh, really? You think?
Yeah, the first act is pretty long. I was actually watching Crit play over Thanksgiving. He has been doing. He was actually only playing classic though, so he was playing the unexpanded version, which was interesting.
Oh yeah,
which is such a grind. But they were taking quite some time to get through. But they were also playing on hardcore too. So I don't know. With 8 players and we're doing softcore, we might be able to make some moves. Could get into Nightmare when all is said and done.
Yeah. We thought hardcore would be fun, but it would just be so sad if we had to start back at 1 or just lose people as we went along.
Yeah, it wouldn't be interesting for the stream, since we're having viewers come in and join us, to have someone die at Andariel and then have to either say, sorry, we're going on without you, or starting over, and then, it just would make for a more interesting stream to just kind of go and play it all the way through. If it's something that people like, we might just do individual streams or maybe a group stream with just the three of us, and we will play, hardcore, just, to get through it.
Yeah. Speaking of softcore, I think I might go back to softcore next season.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I think I might jump off the hardcore bandwagon. I don't know. I love hardcore. I feel like I need it in moderation, and also thought maybe the podcast could benefit from one of us playing on the. I was gonna say the dark side, but really it seems like softcore would be the light side, if anything.
All
you
depends
need
on where
to join
you're
the dark
standing.
side. We have lightsaber hilts.
Oh yeah. Cross
That
guard.
reference.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which turns out, I just found out this recently. Nineball probably knows this because he knows all the lore of everything nerdy, but I guess the movie didn't invent the lightsaber crossguard hilt. That was already in like the books and the comics.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the comics, yes. I specifically remember it being in the comics.
Yeah, so they were getting all this flack, I guess. Maybe for not.
It's the internet.
Oh.
People like to complain.
You stole the words out of my mouth, my friend. People will find something to complain about. If that wasn't in there, then it would have been like, oh, it's too short. And if it wasn't that, it would be like, oh, why is that guy look like it the way he does? Or I don't even know. There's always something, right?
Always something.
But yeah, I'm excited just to see kind of the classic skills come back, and I don't know. I forget who we decided was taking what class. Maybe we'll have some more arguments on it on Saturday. But I kind of want to do the Sork just because I was watching some Frozen Orb get thrown on screen, and I was like, man, I missed that skill.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you. I didn't. I know I play the Wizard now, but I didn't play Source back in D2. I played mostly Paladin, but if someone else wanted to roll Paladin, I'd totally go Amazon because I think they're pretty awesome.
Dude, oh yeah, that's true. I guess we'll see.
I think I'll probably leave my fate up to a straw poll for the viewers.
I'm down with that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Indeed. All right, so that takes care of that. Where were we on news stuff? We were talking about PS4. Melded into D2. Guess we could come back to D3 with the fact that we were talking about PTR, and yes, the Uber drop rate / community buff awesomeness is now done as of earlier this week. And so I'm actually curious because since I haven't been in PTR, I'm wondering if the queue times are drastically lower now because everyone's like, oh, well, that's done. I don't want to be in here anymore. Like, I don't, because my big beef with that whole buff was that I wasn't sure how many people were actually in there to test versus just like, I love this drop rate. And to me, it actually should work, I would say, in Blizzard's favor because it would show how ridiculous this game would be if they ever listened to the community on just continuing to up the drop rate. Because you had everything you could have ever wanted within hours. Let's be realistic, within hours, right? And so at that point, how was the game fun anymore? Like I think that's kind of why I burned out of PTR. Was just I almost felt overwhelmed by the amount of dinging on screen, and I was only in T4 doing riffs, and there was just so many legendaries, so many just stuff coming at you, high quality stuff, that it kind of made everything else feel pointless to some degree.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, especially for the people who played all day like you did, or played enough to fully gear out. But I could see it having the complete opposite effect for more casual players or players that just didn't play that long on the PTR. Because like me, I just barely hit 70, and I had a blast. Like that was like one of the most fun times I've ever had playing Diablo. And I think I understand games enough that I know that that's not good for the game if they did it long term. Like it wouldn't be fun very soon. But I think a lot of players who maybe didn't look that deep into it might come away thinking like, wow, Diablo's way more fun when the drop rates increase by 20 times. Like when you use cheat codes, when you use like the Game Genie on NES, and it was like really fun for a few hours, and then you never wanted to play that game again.
That's a great comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, because I you know what I would love to see is if they did like mini seasons. A lot of people talk about like Path of Exile's week-long seasons or days. Like if they did like a 3-day race with that Uber buff.
And that's actually something I was thinking of as I was leveling up, right when the PTR dropped, because it did launch with the buff, yeah. And so as I was going through, I was like, wow, this leveling process is so much faster than usual. And that kind of led into that whole idea of like, what if they did like a 3-day season where it's just like, get as far as you can. You know, the leaderboards will be there. Because by the time I think I logged off on, it was like Friday night of last week or whatever, and someone had already done like a Greater Rift 36, and the PTR had only been up for like 24 hours. So if you do like a 48 hour, like that's enough to get people up into high level Greater Rifts. Leaderboards should be kind of fleshed out, you know, like something like that would be fun. But the biggest problem with that is all that stuff is supposed to roll over into the regular economy, or, you know, non-seasonal characters. So then what do you do with that? Because it completely wrecks the regular.
Maybe you don't call it a season. You know, maybe they introduce a new feature. It's just called like a race, and they make it clear like what happens in the race stays in the race. You're not getting any of this stuff once it's done. Just like a for funsies.
Yeah, that would be, if it would have to be designated outside of everything else. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I could see Blizzard being hesitant to that because I think they never want like casual players to feel like they're left out of stuff, and that definitely would really only be for the people who could commit a lot of time during those 2 or 3 days. But I know a lot of people, especially people that left Diablo for like Path of Exile, I'm sure would appreciate that a lot.
Agree. I agree.
Yeah, I guess it is interesting, and I wonder if Blizzard has any communication, you know, with like the Path of Exile devs, with, you know, what their experiences have been with their like, you know, week-long or 3-day seasons, and if they are basing any of their ideas that they might have for future seasons, you know, on that, or if they have anything in mind that they want to do instead of doing like buffed drop rates. What if they have a season where they just disable legendaries? You know, and see how far that you can get with just like, you know, blues and yellows.
See, that again is kind of, it almost brings up Archon's point again, where it's the casuals might not be into that because their playtime is already so limited. Like, why would they want to do a season where they're not even going to get stuff that would roll over to help their non-seasonal characters? Maybe that's a season that they just skipped, though, you know? I don't know. But I do agree that seasons should be a place where they try to mix things up that are different from the norm. Not so much so that because you do have to roll over into non-seasonal, it can't break that, you know, the I keep saying economy, but there like really is no economy. But it can't break the way that we know and play the game normally, if you will. But I mean, I feel like that's a great space to experiment in, just because it's limited to some degree. But then it does have to be included eventually.
Yeah, I feel like even if the players were begging for a no legendary season, the devs like wouldn't be able to bring themselves to do it, because I feel like that's like their biggest focus right now, and I think it would be so hard for them to not show off all the work they've been putting into the game.
That's true. Like go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like the pylon thing, really. Like, we're all asking to take the pylons out, but I think they're so proud of like these cool things that give you a spike in power. Like, they would rather show them off, which is why we have more of them now. It's actually kind of hilarious if you really like take a step back, like stop being a player for a second and just observe. It's like, so the community is like, please take this out. They're like, you know what? We hear you guys. We're going to add double or triple.
Turn down.
Like, we're going to guarantee them in every rift.
We know you guys don't like these for whatever reason, but we're just going to give you more of them. You're going to like them. You're freaking going to like them.
You got this.
No, just try it. Just try it. You'll like it. I promise. Right? Just go ahead. Try it. Stick it in your mouth. It's fine. It's good.
What? You slipped it in there. I think it's begging for a "there I fixed it" meme.
Yeah. That's perfect.
We gave you more. Aren't you thankful?
Aren't you thankful? Oh boy. But
I didn't actually get to do Greater Risk on PTR. Leviathan, did you feel like there was still a lot of luck based on which pylons you got?
Yes and no. The one thing that helps to combat that is the fact that the density does feel a lot more normalized. So from rift to rift, there aren't any populations where I'm like, oh, this one I feel like I'm going to fail already because it's a bad map, because I know there won't be enough mobs in here. So in that sense, it kind of evens things out, but it really does still come down to, is a conduit going to be near where you spawn the Greater Rift Guardian? Maybe to some degree you stop paying as much attention to where you spawn the Greater Rift Guardian because it's like, I'm just going to sweep through all this density of mobs and it's going to be awesome. But you still gain a great benefit by having a conduit around when the Greater Rift Guardian comes up because it does still kill it in a matter of seconds. So that still is going to be a problem until they do something to directly nerf the damage that a conduit does to a Greater Rift Guardian. But in general, the amount of pylons that you get and the type that you get don't matter so much through the Rift itself. Just still, I would say the biggest impact is conduit on Greater Rift Guardians.
Yeah, that's interesting. If I could sneak in a side comment, because I know we don't have a lot of news to cover, Mikey in chat was talking about our Path of Exile conversation. And what do you guys think about the system in Path of Exile where if you die on hardcore, your character just becomes a softcore character instead of you losing your character?
I actually there was a podcast that I did on Diablo Inc. Gamers, and I can't remember who it was that was on the show, but they had a very elegant opinion. I want to say it was Xanth, but it might have been somebody else about that. And I really liked the way that he articulated it, and I've kind of used that as a response to this question before. That if you're a hardcore player, you're a hardcore player. Having your dead character switch over to softcore doesn't mean anything to you because you're not going to play it anymore because it's now softcore. It's no longer on the hardcore side of things. It's outside of your stash. It's outside of your Paragon leveling experience. It's outside of everything. It's now, still essentially dead to you and your interests. It's just taking up a character slot at that point. I don't really have an attachment to that dead character because I created it knowing full well that I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose all the items on it, and that's it. End of story. So in that respect, as in my opinion, as a hardcore player, it doesn't really have any benefit to me because I'll probably just delete it anyways, like I have most of my softcore characters.
Yeah, I think that opinion makes a lot of sense to me, but I wonder if it's a case of tunnel vision, maybe, where, because I think that's definitely true for, maybe I say, hardcore players, the hardcore players that really take the game seriously, but I feel like there's a lot of casual players out there who would like to try hardcore if, when they died, they could just go to soft. I mean, because like when you play Path of Exile, hardcore is just like the default. I mean, it's not called default softcore, but like most Path of Exile players are on hardcore from what I can tell, where most Diablo players are on softcore, and there's lots of Path of Exile players that die on hardcore and then continue on default, and those players aren't Xanth and you. Those aren't the hardcore players. They're casual players who would have played softcore, but this gave them an opportunity to try hardcore, stay alive for as long as they can, and then keep playing their softcore characters like they would have normally.
Yeah, that's my opinion of it. Is it essentially operates as the gateway drug. It might make it so that someone who isn't as interested, like you're saying, in hardcore possibly give it a shot just because they know that the repercussions of losing that character are a little lessened, in that they get to keep them. They just have to play them in a different mode. But it could also end up being the same situation that Nineball brings up, where that because you get that taste of hardcore, and the fact that your death really does start to matter a lot more, maybe you become a convert. And so you do end up having these characters that just sit there and take up space, and you eventually delete them anyways. But it's kind of your way in to say, hey, test the waters in hardcore. You might like it, you might not like it. But even if you don't like it, okay, then you can always fall back on softcore because your character still exists over there.
Yeah. But then are you really getting the experience of hardcore? I know this is probably making me sound like an elitist, and I really don't want to come off as that. By all means, if you don't want to play hardcore, don't play hardcore. If you're softcore, all power to you. I don't think of you as any less of a Diablo fan, because I'm a casual hardcore. I play hardcore, but I'm a casual gamer for the most part. But just it's like if you're going to go and play, hardcore to try it out just for the fact that there's no repercussions of your death, is that kind of belies or belittles the experience.
It's hardcore light, right? So it's kind of like it's like diet hardcore. You get a little bit of the taste, but it doesn't make you fat. You don't get the calories. But
it's like you go through and play. It's like one of those things. So it's like I die. Well, I can convert the character over to softcore and then just keep playing it, and you got no experience whatsoever from playing hardcore because your character never died. You just resurrected in softcore and continued playing. There's no. It's like going through and saying as like the gateway drug that you could go through and keep it if you wanted to. You didn't get that experience. You still don't know what it's like because your finger is now hovering over, well, do I delete the character and actually play hardcore, or do I just convert it over to softcore and I just created a character and I just created a new character with no Paragon levels.
I gotta say, like that was my initial resistance to it when I heard about it. Have you played Hardcore Path of Exile?
I have not played Path of Exile.
Oh yeah, well you should. It's a good game, really cool skill system. But I gotta say, at least personally, just subjective experience, I felt the exact same. Oh my god, I don't want to die, playing Hardcore and Path of Exile. Because like you're saying, if like you said originally, if you care about the game, if you're a hardcore player, or at least one that takes the game seriously, then losing your hardcore character means starting a new character. It means pretty much the exact same thing that it does on Diablo for you. And the serious Path of Exile players really only consider like the hardcore characters the like the serious characters. So I think in that sense you still do lose everything. It's just the difference is made with the casual player who's kind of stepping his toe in the water, like Leviathan was talking about in the hardcore server.
Yeah, and I think the one thing to consider too is that kind of a side point to what Archon is saying too. Like it's the default without calling it the default, right? Like there's no designation that you can make in PoE, as far as I know, that says like I only want to be hardcore. Do not turn my character into a softcore character when I die. So even the dudes who are hardcore are still playing under the same guise, but you got to believe that it's just as real for them as it would be for playing Diablo hardcore, where you don't have that option of converting it to softcore. Because in the same sense, just like Archon said, everything converts over, but you don't really care about being in the softcore economy now. You're not going to use that character, so the loss still hurts. I think it would still feel the same.
Yeah, but that's for the person that would disable that option in the first place, anyways. Your points were about the player being introduced into hardcore, which my thoughts on it was just.
So you're saying the person being introduced isn't getting an actual taste for hardcore.
Yeah, they're not getting a taste for hardcore because they get to make the decision after they die whether they actually lost the character or not.
I disagree though, because I feel like if you're, there's two players that are going to try it. There's the people who are going to roll a hardcore character and play just like they would play softcore, and they're going to die really early, right? Like if you're not stacking defense, if you're not choosing defensive skills, you're probably going to die by level 10, and you're going to go to softcore, and yeah, it made no difference for them. But then there's the player who's like, I might as well try hardcore, but I'm actually going to try to stay alive. And if they successfully stay alive, they get to level 30, 40, they get 100 hours in, you can bet that they care about dying at that point, right? The more invested in, like, you can be really proud of having a high-level hardcore character, much more so than with a high-level softcore character. And so I think even if they went in with a softcore mindset, if they manage to stay alive, they're going to become attached to keeping their character a hardcore character.
Yeah, but at that point, wouldn't it just be the same as them rolling on hardcore without that safety net?
Well, I guess my overall point is there's no significant downside to the system. But it really helps people who are thinking about hardcore and don't want to risk losing a big time investment if they end up going back to softcore.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's like it's a feature that's being added in for those people that don't already play hardcore.
Yeah, I like thinking of the Blizz Pro clan, for instance. I could think of people, maybe like someone like Shepard, for instance, who plays both, and he has well-geared characters in both hardcore and softcore. I could see him being the kind of person that'd be like, I would go in for that system because even if I feel like I'm spending time on my hardcore character, it's not time lost if I die because I just convert it to my softcore character and spread the love around on those resources or those whatever gets transferred over. Like now it's benefiting me just on a different mode that I play. So I don't know. It's I feel like you'll always have people on both sides, right? Like
Yeah.
No, yeah, maybe 9-ball's a little outnumbered here, but definitely there's a lot of people who agree with 9-ball, because I know I've talked about this with chat, and a lot of people have taken 9-ball's side.
I don't know. I don't even feel like I agree with either of you.
I guess I mean I could I could definitely see your point, and I guess it would be nice for the players trying to get into hardcore. I think that it's not really an option that a hardcore player it's not an option that would be added in for people already playing hardcore. It's an option for people wanting to try hardcore, for like the first time. Although I think that safety net there belittles the experience a little bit for the people first going through and trying it. But I mean, it definitely, like you said, it really doesn't have any downside. Just if it's if the developers see the need to devote the amount of time to the system in order to get, if they feel that it's worthwhile, by all means, it will not impact me in any way, shape, or form. If that gets 3 people to go from softcore to hardcore permanently, then I like it, type thing. So I have no problems with it.
Let me give you my parting thoughts on this with a quote from one of my favorite movies, The Matrix, wherein Neo is talking to Morpheus and he says, "If you die in the Matrix, do you die in the real world?" Or something like that. And Morpheus is like, "The mind makes it real." And so in that way, if you think about it, it's all up to the perception of the gamer. Like if you're playing and it's your first time in hardcore, if your mind makes that death mean something, if it makes it really real, then shit, you just lost something there.
True. Although slightly off topic, but something that's probably old news to everyone else, and I'm just like now joining the internet or whatever, but like the other day I learned that the Lego movie has the same exact plot as The Matrix, and it blew my mind.
Huh. I'm going to have to rewatch the Lego movie now.
Yeah, super, kick-ass female character goes through, saves newbie guy that doesn't know anything, then trains him, and he becomes more powerful than her, surpassing and saving everyone and escaping into seeing like the actual reality that's around us, type thing. It was interesting.
Yeah, too bad Will Ferrell wasn't in the Matrix.
That would have been awesome.
He was Morpheus.
Oh my god! Have you? What was it? It was one of the VMAs where he was the architect.
Yes. Ergo. Vis-a-vis.
Vis-a-vis. Systemic anomaly. Sorry.
And we have officially derailed.
Yeah,
I'm pulling this train back on track.
Yeah, Leviathan, you had like some research you'd done before the show, huh?
Yes, so there was a flurry of announcements from Nevelistis Dainty, who may or may not still be with us right now, and she was going through the forums and just dropping knowledge bombs. So I'm watching all of this happen as I'm riding the bus from work to home, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta write about this thing. I gotta get in here and let the people know. So basically, she was going through and talking about some of the set changes that are coming, and we knew about one of them in terms of Marauders. Obviously, that's the hot topic in terms of set changes, and it's been getting iterated on in terms of what the sentries do for you, shifting the power from from the sentries themselves to the demon hunter, his or herself, and making it so that the gameplay is more engaging, etc. That's kind of the general overview there. But we learned today that we're getting set changes for the Barb Raycore set, which is insane because that was already their best set, and one of the major problems with it was that it didn't give you great single target DPS. It was amazing, absolutely amazing at clearing out trash, even elite mobs, just because you were always like vacuuming things with you. You're using the Dreadnought rune because you gain all the runes when you have the full set, the 5-set bonus equipped. And you were gaining all the runes of Furious Charge, and the last rune, Dreadnought, is one that allows you currently in the live game to pull all enemies to the destination that your Furious Charge goes to. So it's just absolutely powerful for taking huge crowds of mobs and just destroying them and not having to stop or go back. And again, when you think about something like Greater Rift, you lose a lot of time if you have to go back or if you hit a dead end or whatever. But if you're constantly taking monsters with you, constantly killing them, then it's amazing. And that's why barbs are so great at clearing out Greater Rifts to spawn the Greater Rift Guardian. But then they fell on their faces when it came time to do the single target damage to down the Greater Rift Guardian. And that's why we got into the whole conduit gate, if you will, of them just searching for conduits and trying to down the Greater Rift Guardian as fast as possible with those. So now what's being changed for the set is that, first of all, Dreadnought is being reworked so that it gives Furious Charge 2 charges. So it's actually going to provide you with charges. And I think the skill is still staying cooldown based, but you'll just get another charge from Dreadnought, which is a change that's being made specifically for the experience of barbs that were using this set in multiplayer games, because it was taking a lot of the fun away from the other players in the game when the barb was just pounding their way through, going ahead and leaving everyone else in the group in the dust, taking all the monsters with them as well. And it's just like, why am I even here? Why am I in this rift with this barb? So that was a change that was necessary, I believe, because now they'll not be pulling everything, which is a bit of a nerf, you would think, to the barbs, but the changes that they're making to the actual set, to the Raycore set, should give them the potential to still have those really fast AoE clears. And the changes that are coming for this set are the following. They will now have, let me see if I can find it here. Sorry about this. Oh no, where?
Do you need the link?
I have it here. Okay, sorry. So yeah, the set's being changed so that the first enemy for the 2-piece bonus, the first enemy that gets hit by Furious Charge will take 100% additional damage. The 4-piece for the new bonus is going to be that Furious Charge gains the effect of every rune. So that was the 5-piece bonus previously. And the new 5-piece bonus is that enemies hit by Furious Charge take 3,000% weapon damage over 3 seconds. And so my analysis of that is, whoa, single target damage. Now that the first enemy that gets hit by your Furious Charge is going to take double damage, essentially, that means your Furious Charges are doing that much more output. And because one of the places where they fell down on doing their damage was not being able to utilize the rune, which rune is it? The Merciless Assault rune that lowers the cooldown based on the amount of mobs that you hit, means that they weren't able to do as many Furious Charges as possible when it's just down to 1 target, 2 targets, etc. So it's a good change in that they'll be able to do more damage and have those charges that they're getting from the Dreadnought change, but also the dot is going to allow them to basically leave mobs in their past, or in the path of their going through and Furious Charging around the whole map, and hopefully the dot will be what kills them instead of having dragging all the mobs around the map with them. So this sounds
kind of familiar. Barbs
yes,
just leaving people to die.
Yes, right. A little flashback to vanilla Diablo 3. Run like the wind.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all barbs want. They just want their old OP builds back.
Yeah. They just want to be able to just keep running across the screen and have legendaries just drop on their map, like 5 frames behind them.
That's all they want.
Exactly. And so yeah, going through and reading some of the feedback in the chat. So Dainty does confirm that it will be staying cooldown based. So Dreadnought's power is going to be felt even more so there, because since the skill will stay cooldown based, it does still suffer from not having all those enemies around in order to drop that cooldown back to 0 when you're using that Merciless Assault rune that gets unlocked when every rune gets unlocked. But because you have the extra charge, then you're going to be able to essentially Furious Charge for free after the first one that you throw down, and those charges will keep coming back, as well as the cooldown itself ticking off. So to me this seems like a great change for barbs. Definitely a move in the right direction.
Now, I don't know if this has been clarified. It says Furious Charge has 2 charges, and I can't remember how this works with other similar skills. Does that mean that you'll get 2 charges of Furious Charge when you normally would have gotten 1? Or does the cooldown for each charge remain the same?
The cooldown will, I imagine, if it works like everything else that increases the number of charges, it will still only grant a single charge. But if you go without using it for 2 cooldowns, you'll have 2 charges, and so can use it back to back instantly.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. So yeah, if you waited that 10 seconds, or that's without CDR factoring in as well too. But if you waited that 10 seconds, then you would get that second charge from Dreadnought.
Makes sense. Yeah, it definitely seems like a nerf to the rune, but I can't imagine many Raycore Barbs are going to be complaining.
It'll be. I think we'll definitely have to see whether the dot is enough to kill mobs to the point where they don't have to stick around or do too many charges back and forth through them, because that'll determine just how effective they'll be at their clearing speed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And monks are getting some love too, huh?
Yes, they are. Yes, it's a small change. Nineball, if you have this up, you want to cover it?
It is a small change, but a big one. They're just slightly tweaking the new 4-piece set bonus for Sun Wukos. What the change was is that if the decoy that was produced when you use Dashing Strike explodes, any enemy hit by it will take 500% extra damage from the majority of your spirit spenders, such as Wave of Light, Lashing Tail Kick. But they're changing it slightly, so now when the decoy explodes, you gain a buff that increases the damage of those same skills by 500%. So that way, if you go through and you attack something with your combo and the decoy explodes, or you hit it with the Dashing Strike, and those enemies die, you can still gain a benefit from the damage boost on something else. You have a 3-second window with which you can go through and hit anything with those upped skills. So it's a minor change, but it's huge because it allows you to go through and chain it or not waste it by killing an enemy, as you generate the charges for Dashing Strike or with the Dashing Strike decoy itself.
Yeah, that seems like a huge buff to me in overall damage, and also just a lot more fun. Like it's so frustrating trying to realize, okay, what enemies am I supposed to hit now? Which ones have the debuff? Just being able to run through and hit whatever you want to.
I agree with that, and just being because it's less micromanagement, right? So at that point, you get to turn off a little extra % of your brain in terms of like paying attention to exactly where you need to be, because you're a StarCraft, both you guys are StarCraft guys, but to me, when I play StarCraft, the idea of the fun of it kind of gets thrown out the window when I'm like, oh my god, I have to be in this place, so they're attacking this, I need to go back in macro, and like just being able to let some of that stuff go and know that like I have the power right where I'm looking at, right where right within my character, that takes some of that burden off.
Well, you might like the new Archon mode, which I'm pretty sure was named after me. And
works. Who else?
Yeah, allows you to just handle one thing while your friend does the other.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Talk, I guess.
I am excited for that though. I like macro. I don't like the fight so much. So.
Nice. Well,
I'll be the stay-at-home wife. Wife con.
Have fun at work.
Yep.
Murdering.
Go kill the baddies.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Well, there was one other mention, but I think it's going to be too late for the people who aren't live right now, and that's the 15% off Diablo products.
Yeah, that's today, right? Today only?
Oh.
Yeah.
And sorry, I made a huge mistake there. I was going through and saying Dashing Strike, and I'm combining the freaking Monkey King's garb with the 10,000 Storm changes that'll be coming later on. I just screwed that whole part up.
You know what? Maybe all three of us did, because we didn't notice that you were saying that. But I think, well, the new set bonus reads: when your decoys explode, you gain a buff that increases the damage of your Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, and Wave of Light by 500% for 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's when you use a Spirit Spender, it spawns the decoy, which you then go through, and the decoy explodes, and the next time that you use the Spirit Spender, it has the damage buff. So, yep. Again, it wouldn't be a show without me being wrong about something.
Sorry, I was typing in chat, so I was totally unaccountable for that comment.
You must have been wearing Augchild's misinformation.
Ooh.
Which we'll have to show off later.
Spoilers.
It's pretty fun. Spoilers. Yeah.
But the only other thing from the set piece too, because there was one more thing. They were just talking about the philosophy in terms of retroactive changes and why they do them when they do them. And the main takeaway from that is it's hard to put a set together, right? Like when there aren't 2,000% drop rates going around, sets are a little harder to come by, especially if you don't play the game a lot. And if you aren't into like T6 and getting tons of blood shards to gamble with Kadala, which is usually the best way to go about assembling those sets. The devs recognize that it's tough for players to put sets together, so they don't want to make your experience that much worse by adding all these awesome powers and things that you're going to get really excited about, and then say good luck finding them. So if you have already assembled your sets, hold on to them, because it looks like as far as the future will go, they will be doing retroactive changes to sets. So whenever you feel like, maybe Net's set is going to get a buff, which we actually do know they will be getting a 6-piece bonus on there at least. Those are pieces you want to keep around because they're not going to force you to refine those pieces just to get the new bonuses.
Unless you play seasonal characters, then you will be forced to refine them.
Along with everything else.
Mr. Caveat.
Oh. Well, was that all the big news? Anything else we want to cover before we get into the contest?
The Legendary Workshop is going to be making a return. During the Evolving Reaper of Souls panel at BlizzCon, they had the little thing where they invited some people from the community, as well as everyone in the community, to submit ideas for making a new legendary item. Well, they'll be bringing it back on a live stream this next Tuesday. So it's December 9th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, on the official Diablo Twitch channel. It's going to be Nevelistus, John Yan, and Julian Love, who are going to be sitting there talking about they're going to be talking about some of their design goals for the Legendary Workshop that they had at BlizzCon. I believe they'll be talking about how they selected the final item that they picked at BlizzCon to be the new item being added into the game, which originally started off as a wizard source, which rotated an elemental skill bonus across all the elements and kind of like a set rotation, so that way you'd get like a huge bonus for whether you cast a fire spell and the next a frost and such. Which they then later, during the stream, they said it would actually be something like a ring or something along those lines, and be available to all class.
Yeah, it's so funny for me to watch them kind of develop this Legendary Workshop idea, specifically with all the changes they've made since the first one. Because if you guys remember, the first Legendary Workshop, it started by just asking the community for a bunch of ideas. They took a while to compile all these ideas from the community, and then 4 of us got on a live stream and just kind of went through the ideas. And the idea was that within that one live stream, we would come up with 3 to 5 ideas that the community could vote on. But of course, it was done for the first time. Unexpected complications. The biggest problem with it seemed to be that players aren't developers. And we had no idea about the design limitations. We had no experience as to what makes legendaries fun, what things don't work. And so what it ended up being was rejecting 99% of the ideas from the community because they just weren't cool or didn't work for some reason that the community wasn't aware of. Mostly because the legendary power has to do something other than just add damage. And then it's later well, we can't add anything that has too much of an art budget. Well, and they're all legit concerns, but things that players have never thought of. We're just trying to think of what would look cool, what would be fun. And then on the live stream, it was a lot of the same. What about this? Well, we can't do that because of this. What about this? Well, we can't do that because of this. And it was more like the developers were trying to teach us all how to be developers in a really short amount of time, so we could actually be part of the process. And then with this version of it, they've really quieted down the community part, right? Which maybe they totally have to do that. They're just, maybe it's never going to work where the community can really be the developers. The developers, I think, really are going to have to take control of it, and it seems like that's the way they're going with this. The thing at BlizzCon, it seemed like the developers were really kind of had complete control over the thing, and now they've even gone away from the idea that they came up with at BlizzCon, and it's the live stream this time is just going to be Blizzard people, it looks like, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like the iterative process in like motion, like we're actually seeing it happen, right? So like you were stating, the first time around there were those things that went down in terms of designing the Shard of Hate, and then they learned some things from that, and so now this is the next version, and who knows if the third version will be similar or different. But I wouldn't say that the community portion is so much diminished as it's just relegated to one part of it now, because we were voting on everything along the way, and it seems like this time around it's more, we kind of have to say on the important part in terms of the power, because the power is what we will experience in the game. It really doesn't matter what the hell it looks like or what it's on. I mean, it matters to some degree in terms of gearing, but it doesn't matter what it looks like or what the flavor is or whatever. We're still going to use it if it's really powerful. And so that's the most important part, I think, and they're kind of keeping the community engaged on that level. But then we're actually going to learn more about how these things come to life in terms of same things you were talking about, like limitations, what they decide is actually going to be implementable in a way that doesn't break the game, etc. And I think it just avoids a lot of those awkward moments where you are giving out like great ideas, like make it a sword that like spins through the air and kills stuff on its own, but you know that's just not feasible. So it takes away some of those negative moments while keeping some of the positive feelings going, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm totally like on board with the changes. I didn't mean to say that they screwed anything up there, but yeah, it was just kind of it was an eye-opening experience into how much, at least in my opinion, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but it was an eye-opening experience into how much more the developers understand the design process than the players do. And I think the new approach of just like, okay, we're going to let you help when you can, but mostly we're going to teach you how we do things is, I think, just a good compromise.
Yeah, that and putting it like specifically like that makes a lot of sense to me, because if you remember the first time that they started doing the philosophy part of the patch notes, say that 5 times fast, that was a really well received thing from the community, because they could now understand why the changes were being made. Like, it wasn't just about shoving like the Crusader needs to be like this because this is our vision for it, but it's more without explaining what the vision is, right? So instead they're saying, all right, we're changing steed charge because we want you to have the fantasy of being on the horse more often and using it more as an escape skill rather than an initiation skill or something like that. And so I can come as a Crusader and say, oh yeah, you did change steed charge. Maybe it doesn't feel as good as it used to, but I get why you did it, and I can respect that decision now based on the information. And maybe that's kind of what they're pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you know, Nevilistus is going and saying in the chat, you know, as this stream is hoping to provide even more of that insight, because there's a lot of stuff that didn't translate well when they were off on the side of the stage with the whiteboard that they'll hopefully be able to talk about more on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that'll be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we had talked about that they should release that audio, so maybe this is the next best thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. We could basically take credit for this workshop.
Yeah, I think, well, we're actually about to have our own Legendary workshop, and, you know, maybe...
That segue.
Yeah, we're getting pretty good at these segues. Maybe the devs can just save some time and take one of our ideas. Just cancel it, we're not doing the ring, because we got a new Augchild set. Courtesy of viewers of Westmarch Workshop.
Yep. So, you know, if you're a developer watching or listening to the show, be ready to start taking notes.
Get that pen and paper.
You're welcome, and we'll take all credit, even though it obviously was sent in by someone else. It doesn't matter.
You're welcome.
It's all right.
You're very welcome.
Yep.
I think that should take place of the "I'm sorry" spam. We just.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Aren't you thankful?
That's quite the shift in confidence.
Yeah. We got a little more confidence. Okay, so we got. First, are we ready? Anything else we need to cover?
No, I think that's it. I think
all
we're
right.
good.
We thank you guys. We got so many submissions. Backing up a little bit, this is for a contest, if you guys haven't heard, to win a PlayStation 4 copy of Reaper of Souls, and it's too late to enter if you hadn't, but the way to enter was to submit an idea for the Augchild set. The Augchild set is not a real set per se yet, at least. But it was originally a mispronunciation of the Augchild set, which for all intents and purposes on this show doesn't exist. It's just the Augchild set.
Augchilds, yep.
So we only had like 2 submissions last week, and then you guys answered the call, and we got like 20 submissions this week.
A lot.
Yeah, we had a ton. I didn't actually read how many it was that we got, but we did have to go through every single one of them in order to pick out a winner, and it was kind of hard. There was so many here that were just wonderful. There were people that went through and submitted like actual like set bonuses, and they obviously had to have sat down and really thought hard about like trying to make some interesting mechanics for these set bonuses. There's other people that took it the entire opposite direction and just had fun with it, and were lots of like really great references to the show. And so it took a lot of discussion to go through and pick which one we felt was the favorite. But I think we found a nice balance. But that's not to say that we didn't enjoy all of the submissions that we got. And I think we each picked out a couple that we wanted to at least go and say is a runner-up, to the winner itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, some of you guys put so much work into this, and we apologize to people we can't get to, because we know you went through a lot. You guys, even people went through like the philosophy of like how the set would work and why.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. And we even got a few nice photoshops that we'll share with you guys. Yeah, anyone want to grab one first? One of these runner-ups?
I want to jump in because I'm so excited about this. You guys are amazing.
Go for it.
I'm like smiling ear to ear because this is one of the coolest things that has happened this year. I want to say for sure. In terms of my involvement with Diablo, this is just awesome. I love like when we can get the community creating things and having fun with it and stuff. So I have this one here from GRZA. It's his player name. He comes in, and this is just awesome. When this one came in, it was my personal favorite until we got some other entries, just because of the dedication to that mysterious sea that just crept its way into Augchild. And so I'm going to read this word for word because this is beautiful. He says, "Ciao, comrades." A similar opening that we usually get. The crux of the Augchild set, or Augchild's conundrum, is clear. There must always be C's, even when one doesn't appear. The compensation of collaboration. 2-piece set bonus. Critical hits cast cold on close-by creatures. The 3-piece set bonus is critical hits cause creatures to be charmed or confused for 3 seconds. 4-piece set is CC'd enemies are fire chained together. And the 5-piece set bonus, the Unsilent Sea. With all 4 pieces of Augchilds equipped, unequipping your chest armor will equip a phantom chest piece, the Invisible Sea. It can have minimal stats, if any, but all skills or runes that contain a letter C do 25% extra damage, and defensive C skills could get some type of buff too. That's awesome. I'm sorry, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would have loved to be there when he was just typing that out. You can tell he put so much work into getting as many C's in there as he could.
Mm-hmm. He had to be laughing to himself too. It's awesome.
Sounds really good.
Can I take the next one?
Yeah, go for it.
This one was one of my personal favorites, the one that I fought for. But unfortunately had to be relegated to a runner-up. This one comes from Raider Hater. So I imagine that they are a fan of the Raiders and hate the haters. But this is their idea for the Augchild set. The 2-piece set bonus, plus 40 to 50% attack speed increase to pets. Primarily for Leviathan's dog, but sorry, Nineball, I don't think that you'll see these. And then not only does it have that amazing set piece bonus, the 2-piece unlocks a transmog, which unlocks the helm, Leviathan's white A hat, and black framed glasses, which, as you can see here tonight live, this wasn't even pre-planned. He came on the show with that, before we actually started talking about who our favorites were. My personal favorite, 4-piece set bonus plus 100% kidney resistance.
I think that's mostly for me. thinking.
Is that liver resistant?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then the 4-piece transmog is 9ball's new and improved beard. Yes, as you can see, Movember is over, but the beard remains.
On that note, can I show a quick picture that Desert Ninja sent in?
Sure.
Yes.
9ball's beard is getting more epic, and this is a viewer, like regular viewer, Desert Ninja, and what 9ball might be able to one day aspire to. This very epic beard.
Look at that. We got that submission at the end of the show last week, and 9ball was like, "Guys, you got to see something in the mailbox."
Yeah.
What? Archon thought it was going to be something far dirtier, but this is
yeah. I was a little disappointed, but this was also awesome.
This guy. Opinions expressed by Archon are not reflective of the opinions of the show.
Only 1/3 of the show.
Unreal.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Continuing. The 6-piece set bonus is plus 150% bonus to song parody writing skills, with a secondary stat plus 140% cold feet resistance. This one's for you, 9ball. Thank you. And then the 6-piece transmog is holding a 6-pack of fancy Archon beer, or the Leviathan special, a glass of peanut 9R.
What am I
Archon's
drinking
way of
tonight? It's happening. It's happening.
Wait, I say... Okay, you guys have to tell me about this inside joke I don't get. I say wine peanut 9R?
You did last time.
Peanut 9R.
Because I was sick, because we were talking about what we were drinking, and I was like, I have this peanut...
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember now. I was like, I must have been really drunk last episode. Yeah. Pinot 9R.
But yeah. Yeah, I just loved, because this one was probably one of the most meta submissions that we had in, that touched upon like every little aspect of the show, even like some like the little subtle things, such as, you know, Leviathan's hat, and I loved it. I loved it.
That was really good. All right, well, the one I chose, a little bit shorter email, but I thought it just was a really good homage to the show, and well thought out too. So this one comes from Kevin. We sent to 9ball specific. Oh yeah. So anyways, sorry. I'll get to there's a 2-piece, 4-piece, and 6-piece set bonus. The 2-piece changes your followers. Your Enchantress becomes Archon's Wizard. Scoundrel becomes 9ball's Demon Hunter, and the Templar becomes Leviathan's Crusader. I assume that just comes with whatever gear we have at that time. I think that's fair to have full Marauders Demon Hunter following you around.
Yeah, totes.
Not OP.
It can be hard to play in groups with that. And then 4-piece set bonus. It upgrades your wizard with 2 unities, something that Archon will never get on his own. Upgrades your Demon Hunter with Tasker and Theos.
Something that I will never get on my own.
Yes. And then upgrades Leviathan's Crusader with a zombie dog pet. So you can finally get your dog back, Leviathan.
Oh my god, I never thought I'd see the day.
And then the 6-piece bonus lets you bring all 3 of us along. So that was good.
I'm dying. Oh.
Yeah, all 3 of those entries we just read, by the way, were close to being picked. So I'm sorry, you almost made the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yes.
Well,
were there any other ones that you wanted to give shout-outs to?
I did want to give a shout out to Tibbledorf. He's
yes.
A member of the Blizz Pro clan. He actually got his witch doctor, his support witch doctor, shouted out in the Player Way Thursday, which is coming up for voting on Thursday, by the way. So vote for Tibbledorf. A vote for Tibbledorf is a vote for Blizz Pro. But besides fixing ballots, he also sent in a amazing entry. Here it is. That was all based on the word child, because obviously that is the issue at hand here, is where did this child come from? And I didn't realize this until we got all these entries, but for people who don't know, 9ball's last name contains the word child, so I think this was all just a selfish ploy to get a kind of You see where I'm going with that? I think that's what's going on here. And then, in any case,
all about me. The secret's out.
There it is. See, I knew it. This set is like super involved, so I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but he basically just goes on the child theme. His 2-piece set bonus is called Like Stealing Candy, and part of it is that you have a chance on hit to target an enemy. Targeted enemies will always drop gold when they die, and have a 15% increase to their chance to drop an item. His 3-piece set bonus is the Little Rascals. And one of the parts of it is gaining the ability to call the neighborhood kids. His 4-piece set bonus is, if you try to steal from me, I'll hurt you. I'll read this full one out. If an enemy walks over gold or items on the ground, you will summon Squirt the Enraged. Squirt the Enraged deals 4,000% damage to enemies within 15 yards of gold on the ground and continues to guard it for 3 seconds. And then he also put lore text in. He had other ideas that he wanted to add, but didn't. But he added them, but they weren't part of the set. Like, it was just really inventive stuff, and also like some lore-based things there too. Because Squirt actually says that in the game: "If you try to steal from me, I'll hurt you." So I thought that was really awesome. The attention to detail, and really vibing off of that child theme.
Nice.
And then I also wanted to give another shout out to Mr. Dorcas's submission, because he went through and he took quite literally one of the suggestions that we made on the last show, and he went through and made a 13-piece Augchild set. So every single item slot on your character, he went through and made something for, as well as a 2 through 13-piece set bonus, in addition to the stats of all of the gear itself. So I think that, some recognition is definitely due there for Mr. Dorcas and going all the way and creating a full set of gear.
Yeah, some of these submissions weren't just comical. They actually were like well thought out items that would probably fit all right into the game. And the full 13-piece doubled the effectiveness of all your passives, which seems pretty good. But I mean, if you're gonna put all 13 pieces.
Yeah, when I was looking at that, I was like, man, that's OP. But then I'm like, the commitment to that like designates it as such, right? Like, if you're gonna go full Augchilds, you better get something out of it.
You better go full Augchilds. That could be a term. You're going full Augchilds.
It's going full Augchild. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I think season 3 we'll get an Augchild set. Maybe season 4.
Gotta be.
Devs are listening.
Yep. Shall we go on to the winner?
Yeah, I have a drum roll queued up here.
Ooh.
Hit it.
Here we go.
Drum roll, please.
It's from The Office. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Oh.
We didn't decide who's reading it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we should have figured that out.
Go ahead, person who's reading it.
9ball, since this is yours after all.
Okay, all right. So the winner of the contest, and we'll be getting the free PS4 version of the Ultimate Evil Edition, is Landshark. Going through and sending in her submission, for the Augchild set piece, because this one was a nice balance of both, references to the show and some in-jokes, as well as actually going through and statting out some nice set bonuses, for the characters, as well as including, some of just the personal favorites of ours. We all kind of really saw this one and liked it. The balance in between the humor as well as trying to make something functional.
Indeed. Yeah, I think this entire thing deserves to be read, because I think she managed to fit in the most references to the show of all our submissions. Here, we'll take turns reading lines. That sounds good.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Okay, the neck piece is Augchild's amulet. It's made of the crystallized tears of people with bad Hellfire amulets, forged in the fire of rage over nerfs.
And that reminds me, I made 6 Hellfire amulets for my Demon Hunter. Not one of them was good this weekend.
Sounds about right.
Very topical. Oh man, Augchild's glorious girdle, the belt. The belt of this buckle is emblazoned with the logo of the famed Westmarch workshop.
We have the Augchild's ranting raps bracers. Faint echoes of rants and rambles can be heard whenever the bracers are worn by a player known to use exploits.
I like that. I would be totally cool with that if Blizzard put that in. It's like, no, yeah, you can use an exploit, but everyone's gonna know.
He did it. He used the conduit pylon. I know he did.
I think it should be Leviathan's voice too. Alright, the gloves are called Augchild's second-hand Marauders gloves. And it's just still not Tasker and Theo. This is what Nineball's gonna be wearing.
Yes, still not Tasker and Theo.
The next piece is Augchild's Nerf sword. It's a one-handed sword. The devs can't nerf what is already nerf.
Augchild's Band of RNGesus ring. Praise the Lord of Randomness, lesser known but most influential of all of the deities of Sanctuary.
Very true.
Amen.
And this set actually has 2 rings. The other ring is Augchild's Item of the Week. There will still be at least 5 better rings than your roll. Sorry. It's true. Items of the Week probably very depressing for a lot of people.
Right? I never really thought of it that way until then. Oh, this is great. Augchild's pixelated breastplate. I'm sorry. Chest. Sorry, internet sucks again.
Just always. You're constantly wondering, like, is my internet bad, or am I just wearing the pixelated breastpiece?
Oh man. And then the set bonuses, right?
Yeah, set bonuses. The 2 pieces plus 500 bonus to main stat. I think it would actually be cool if it was like plus 500 bonus to all main stats. Yeah. And then the 4-piece set bonus is plus 100% critical hit damage.
Sexy.
Yep. And then because of the secondary effect of the 6-piece one, I have to give this one to Leviathan.
Yes. I see why you did this. The 6-piece bonus is Shades of a Crusader. A demon hunter and a wizard appear to attack enemies for 30 seconds when you hit 25% life with a 120-second cooldown, and the stats scale with the player. But also, for the 6-piece set bonus, there's a chance to shout "Sup, fellas" when you send a message in in-game chat.
I love it because, like, not only did she get all the references in, but like this is one of the joke sets that could actually work in the game. Nothing completely broken about it.
That reminded me of in World of Warcraft when you drink the alcoholic beverages and you start slurring your words and adding hic, like hiccup.
Yeah.
When you go through and type messages to people, you can just imagine you're going through and sending a message to someone in Diablo, and then it just starts with "Sup, fellas." It's like, oh, you completed your Augchild set, didn't you?
Yeah. Like when you're yelling at the bar with the Raycor set, like, "Stop running in front of the group!" It'll just come out, "Sup, fellas, stop running in front of the group!" Just change the tone of every message.
In a way, it would make for a friendlier community, wouldn't it? more sup, fellas. Get that out there. Get it trending.
And then just imagine if you go and you like start trolling somebody, or someone's getting into an argument, in the middle of a run. "Sup, fellas, you killed my witch doctor. You're a noob." Sounds so inviting, yet so harsh. I don't understand.
Perfect for all occasions.
And I should add, since it's part of the email, she also said Archon play a monk in Season 2. At least as an alt, to see how the sets have improved. And like I said earlier, I'm thinking about it. I think I might try the monk.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this set just really got it for me. I had some laughs, and then I was like, oh, you could actually use this too. The bonuses aren't like so OP that I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I just on all levels, beautiful.
Yeah, and then I also liked it because the 6-piece set bonus is a reflection of the Augchild's set. That allows you to have the followers come and join you when you have the chance on attacking for the followers to come in. Or is that?
That's right.
Assurance?
Oh yeah,
that's Assurance.
Assurance. Never mind. I'm wrong again. I'm just
They're-
gonna be quiet here.
The flavor text is 9-ball is bad.
9-ball is bad. That is the 9-ball is wrong. 9-ball is bad.
Yeah, so there are two sets that people don't get 6 pieces of, so easy to make the mistake. Oh, but we did have 2 other submissions we saved for last, since the podcast people won't be able to see the pictures of the photoshopped Augchilds. We got this one from Rincon. It's Augchild's Power, and if I can scroll down here, we'll see the set bonuses. Pretty similar to the Augchild set bonuses, but very nice Photoshop job.
Indeed. And it's an ancient item too.
That's true. Yeah, ancient Augchilds. Yeah. And then Jaich, the famous wizard, who just recently put out a nice guide that you can find on Diablo Fans on how to solo wizard up the leaderboards. He sent us in this very pretty 4-piece Augchilds, and you can see. I'll show you all the pictures here. But as you can see, 2-piece increases your chance to mispronounce words by 10%, and your chance to misspell words by 10%. And then typing efficiency goes down by 15% if you get the 3-piece. So you probably don't want to get the 3-piece. You also take more damage from imps.
Yep.
And here's the Augchild's misinformation, which I thought maybe 9-ball was wearing earlier.
This is the only. That's kind of hilarious. It's the only set where you like don't want to complete it.
One piece of
And
Augchilds is okay.
The one thing that I would say is I don't think that it should increase damage taken by imps by 15%. It should increase damage taken by trolls by 15%.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only improvement I would make to that set.
But I when he submitted this, I tweeted at him that I would love to wear this transmog. Do you guys see how beautiful these pieces are? That blue, so nice.
It's a very lovely color.
I do also enjoy the color he chose for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that's some impressive Photoshop skills.
Yeah, man, that guy goes for it when he goes for it.
Yeah.
Becomes slow in the brain.
And Jaich actually doesn't even have a console. He's like, I don't want the game. I just really wanted to get the submission in. So, thanks so much, man.
Appreciate the love.
Yeah.
Art.
All right. So yeah. Sorry. Did you give? We're gonna be messaging Landshark. Well, 9-ball might have already said that, but we'll get you all the stuff you need. And anything else before we get into feedback?
No. Again, thank you to everyone who submitted. Sorry if we couldn't read yours. There were a ton, honestly, a absolute ton of entries, and many of them very, very good. But I hope that we can do something like this in the future. We'll probably find some things that we can give away again next year in 2015. So keep your creative juices flowing.
Yeah, and we can always come up with stuff, even if we don't have something to ship them. Do some other kind of prize for the contest. We'll put their name on the overlay or something like that.
And we can misspell their name when we put it on the
Yes.
overlay.
Don't tell them yet. It's gonna be a surprise.
Yeah,
Wait, that's not
I do
my
want to
thing.
say that I don't know why I'm screwing up so much tonight. Besides the fact that I'm super bad tonight. I'm sorry.
The aura of Augchild is with you.
Yeah, there's too much Augchilds going on, and they're like, should have taken tonight off.
You know, we should
man.
we should be sponsored by Starbucks because they're like the kings of misspelling people's names. Right?
That's true.
That's okay. Well, you guys were so busy sending in contest submissions this week that we didn't get much feedbacks, so we're gonna get through this pretty quickly.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
There was one that I wanted to take. If you guys don't mind me going ahead.
Hit it.
Go for it.
I don't know if you grabbed this screen, but Terry Kluge sent in a picture that is clearly from the PTR because it references the new blood shard goblin that drops all the crazy blood shards. And Terry goes to say, "Sup, fellas," or something. Just wanted to share my experience. Oh, there it is. Excellent. Just wanted to share my experience with a set of double blood shard goblins. This was with my DH and T6. Got over 1,000 blood shards, so I had to pick some up and portal back to spend some shards so I could pick some more up twice. I don't. You count the numbers on that. I don't know. Math's crazy. But in any case, Terry hopes that the devs realize this and remove the cap on shards. I wouldn't go that far, but the reason why I wanted to read this specific feedback is this is part of my crusade. As a crusader, I have things that I need to champion, and I want a higher blood shard cap. It's got to come with the next PTR patch just to test it. Can we at least test it to see if it feels good? Because when you get moments like this is awesome, right? Like, look at this screen, like, holy purple. That looks amazing. But when you have to go back to town and then spend and then come back into the rift, and it just kind of dissembles that feeling of like, oh God, this awesome event has just turned into a chore. And why not just have it 1,000 blood shards that I can carry, or even have overflow where I can pick them all up. The cap is still 500, but then I go and I have to spend them or I can't pick up any more after that, you know? Something, I don't know, there just needs to be a way to make this experience an only positive and awesome one.
Yeah, have we gotten like a legit blue post on the philosophy behind not wanting to increase the cap?
Last I saw, there was something from Nevilistus that said they want to encourage people spending their blood shards. So the reason that the cap is at 500 is that, you know, when you get to the point where it's full, then obviously you have to spend them. And that's just their way of encouraging you to not hoard them forever and ever, to actually go through and actively use them.
Yeah.
I don't remember actual specific comments from the Diablo team, other than kind of like just not wanting you to like accumulate them and sit on them for like maybe, but in World of Warcraft they do something similar with like the old like justice and valor systems, is they always wanted to refresh it so that way you didn't just sit on, you know, all these points and can immediately like buy into the next tier of items when they come out. So you're not just sitting there on like 1,000,000 blood shards. So they come out with a new season and then you just gamble all your items, you know, all the new sets and things that they add in.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it makes sense in terms of like wanting you to use them as you get them, like at that moment, you know, cash in on it, don't save up. And I guess I don't know, to I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, why can't it just work the way I want it to work?
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's a middle ground that they can make in between, you know, wanting to accomplish that goal of having a cap low enough that makes you spend, and high enough that it doesn't make it feel as if you're going back to Gadala every 10 minutes, you know, depending upon the rarity of the blood goblins. I think that it can definitely serve, because what is it? You found how many thousand that one time in your rift?
When I had that pack, it was 4,000 blood shards. So that's at least 8 trips if I wasn't holding any at the moment I found that pack.
So, you know, maybe something to take into advantage or take into account that could happen, of like a 2,000 cap, you know, just so that way, if you run into an instance where you have a pack of blood goblins, that even though you'll still be forced to go back to town, you only make one trip. You know, you'll go spend all of your blood shards, then come back in, collect what's left on the ground, and then continue on your way.
We'll see, right? Hopefully they're listening. Hopefully they agree. Because the one thing that I always go back to is that the same change that was made for us not getting spammed with yellows back in the day was, you know, we want there to be an ebb and flow between battle and being in town. And we want it to be that it's not so disruptive that you pick up a ton of yellows and like, oh God, I got to port back because I'm full. Because it's disruptive to, especially when you're playing in a party, it's disruptive when you have to go back to town and everyone's like, should we wait? Should we go? Maybe we'll go. Oh, hey, there's an elite. And then you're rushing through, you know, looking at your items or whatever, just disenchant everything. You're like, oh God, I don't know. I got to get back. So to me, at least, it just seems like it would be nice to have that continuity of battle, which would lend itself towards having a higher cap.
Yeah, it seems like the ends just don't quite justify the means of having a lower cap. I think one thing's for sure, no one would complain if they raised the cap.
I think I agree. Yeah,
I agree with that.
So, maybe. We can hope. We got some novels of feedback this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I think some of them. Let's see. We got a wizard build sent in by Marcel, and I'll try to paraphrase a bit because it is a dozen paragraphs or so. And very much appreciate all the feedback we get sent in. We definitely read all of them, and the ones that aren't appropriate to respond to on the shows, we try to write back to you guys. And also, I forgot to earlier, this is a good time to plug the feedback. If you want to send in any items of the week or feedback, please do it. We love to see it. And our email is westmarchworkshop@blizzpro.com. And so, yeah, basically, Marcel used to be a meteor critical mass wizard, and he kind of wanted to get that magic back. And so he's been playing around with this build that uses spectral blades, teleport, magic weapon, meteor shower, slow time, and energy armor. Now that slow time is actually pretty good, and maybe the set could shine with the new slow time build. But basically, just replacing the twisters with spectral blades, so we can stay in there and then spam meteors on them. And then slow time seems to be mostly damage mitigation to replace the stun lock that he had on critical mass build. And so he drops the meteor, teleports in and stuns them with the calamity rune on teleport, and then pops up slow time and just, you know, spectral blade when he doesn't have resource, spamming meteor when he does. And yeah, he says it's working pretty well, and he's hoping it'll also work well on console. So any of you wizards missing the critical mass build, maybe try it out. Throw on spectral blades. See if it seems like you might have to have a little bit more defense than you would with most wizard builds, but I personally haven't tried it since the expansion.
Wizard things. Hashtag wizard things.
Just wizard things.
But yeah, thanks, Marcel.
Yeah. I do feel really bad because it's literally my least favorite class. Like, I will go ahead on the record and say that, like, if I could delete one class from the game, I'd actually delete Wizards, which is so weird to say because I played so much Sorceress in D2. And it's not even that whole, like, oh, I wish D3 was like D2. But the Wizard just, I don't... Besides, I think I love the fact that the Wizard is, like, really saucy, like, really sassy. I love that flavor, but the gameplay of it just never interested me.
Huh. Yeah, well, I don't take offense. And also, Crusader's my least favorite class, so it's good that we're both here.
Ooh,
dude, I'll see you on the playground at 4 o'clock.
I'll see you in brawls. We'll hash it out, Wizard v.
We'll brawl it out.
Not
That's
really.
right.
Your gear's way better than mine, and I'll just make the Wizards look bad all over the world.
I'll just send stamped little horsies at you.
Yeah.
And knock your wizard over.
Won't last long. If I can get you up to 3,000 weapon damage, though, then I'll just run away forever.
And then it will be the Benny Hill music playing in the background.
I'm like, Charles, get out of my head.
So many references.
Indeed.
Oh. We had another kind of like a mini novel that we had come in from Ohm, who actually, this is a follow-up from another email that we got earlier in the beginning of November. That I guess we kind of misinterpreted some of the feedback and some of the suggestions that he had
That was
with
my fault.
his. Yeah, with what he originally wanted to convey. And so he just wanted to clarify a little bit. And he also wanted to give a shout out, and he's glad, Leviathan, that your dog's okay.
now a zombie dog, but still okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then also just a shout out to that he's happy that I've fully recovered from my little episode, and I thank you dearly for that, because it was a lot of the support that I got from the community that really helped me through there. But he just wanted to clarify what this kind of like story mode / lore achievement thing that he wanted to that he'd like to see like added into the game, or just a suggestion of something else that they could add into the game. And it really didn't have anything to do with story mode. What it is just like a little kind of side quest for adventure mode while you're going through and doing bounties, that you might have an addition of a lore master, or the actual like Herodrum character in Tristram, or any of the basically any of the towns that you could go through, and it will be a guy that's looking for Heraldric journal pages. And once this NPC has been unlocked or added or whatever, when you go around and you kill certain mobs or click on certain breakables or you quest in or do bounties in certain acts or certain zones, they have a chance at dropping a journal page. And each of these journal pages will be like something that you can target farm for. Like, page 37 will only drop from clicking logs in Act 1, and say it might be something along the lines of a little bit more lore behind wood wraiths. So it's just little things that can go through and talk about the lore and the kind of backstory of the different zones, different characters, or different monsters that you go through and see, that kind of might expand a little bit further than like the little snippets that you get from Kane and others when you kill a mob or interact with a mob for the first time. And it just gives you something that you can target farm for, maybe have a little bit of experience tied into actually unlocking the pages. But the main benefit that he says is that he would think would be cool is if once you reach certain thresholds, like you've collected chapter 1 or 25 pages or whatever metric that you want to use to gauge it by, is that it slightly increases the chance at getting some of the higher rarity scale items. Like I would assume Calamities or Tasker and Theos or whatever non-Demon Hunter super rares are.
The Furnace.
Furnace, thank you. There we go. And it's not anything super, maybe like a 0.1%, 1%, who knows, but just like something that gives some sort of little almost non-tangible bonus for going through and doing it. And I kind of like that, even without the bonus being there, just maybe adding that feature into the game for people that want to learn more, that might not know about some of the novels that are out there or the time to read the novels, that just want to experience more of the game world, that they could go through and do it and have a little bit more, shown to them about what's going on behind the scenes in Sanctuary.
In a way, go ahead, Archon, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm not one for lore, but if it was built in a way that it was worth doing and the lore was kind of hand-fed to you, I can get into it. Like some games, I really get into the lore not because I take time out of the game to get into the lore, because I'm just thinking about the numbers the whole time. But if the lore will like force feed me, or if the game will like force feed me the lore, where I just have to be enveloped in it, then it does make me appreciate the game a little bit more.
That's funny that you say that, because remember one of the big complaints in vanilla was the whole like, oh god, these cutscenes, they keep forcing them on me, and then they finally gave us that option to skip cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, where's the community on this? Who knows?
No, that's not forceful enough. If I can save time by not doing the lore, I'm gonna take that option. But like
what you're arguing for is Kane speaking in a much more forceful and loud voice.
Yes, I want Kane to talk while I play. Don't interrupt my gameplay. They do it well in Diablo in a few cases. I think I keep mentioning Warlords of Draenor, but they do it really well. You can't help but know what's going on in the lore when you level up through there. I think as long as it's like given to you as you're playing, then I love it. I just feel like I'm wasting time. So
I hear that, yeah, because you want to keep moving forward in terms of building your character, but if there's also coincidental lore happening at the same time, it's like, hey, bonus.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just build like a Deckard Cain podcast into the soundtrack, and that's just one of the tracks that you can get as a bonus as you play.
I like it.
But what I was that's a completely troll point. But what I was actually going to say was that Ohm's idea and Nineball's explanation of it kind of sounds like maybe something that the devs are thinking about, and maybe what a version of the lore book Conquest is, in a way. A way to get players maybe interested in lore. Because what if you're a completionist? You want all the conquest for every season, and lore never interested you before, but it's like, crap, I have to go through and get all those books now because it's part of this goal that I have. And maybe you just hit spacebar or D or whatever you assign to skip through it, but you at least are having some cognizant thought of those things existing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just speaking personally. I don't know how many other people feel this way, but for me, it's the fact that I can spacebar through it. I mean, I don't want to be forced to sit in town for a while. So I guess ideally it would be that as I'm killing stuff, they're telling me what's going on. Or like there's like key battles throughout, or key quests throughout where the lore is kind of given to me as I'm going through that quest or as I'm going through that fight.
I guess it just, what a, like, need to find an elegant way to get it done.
Oh, yeah. I guess just kind of going back to the Warlords of Draenor reference, it's Blizzard's learned a lot in being able to convey like the story that's going on in the background through the cutscenes since they originally introduced them in Wrath of the Lich King, where they just had the one, and then Cataclysm, where they just overdid it, especially if you're going through Oldham, and it's just freaking every other minute that you're playing, every other quest is a freaking, like 30-second long cutscene, and it just gets so annoying. And then now they're just kind of spread out, and they're like maybe 5-10 seconds at a time, just to, like, giving you maximum impact for just a minimal amount of time investment.
That's that's such a millennial thing, though. It's like we can only handle the shortest of sound bites at this point. It's like, guys, give them 5 seconds. I think they can handle it. Are you sure it's not too long? I don't know. Oh, God.
That's how I felt when Vine started getting popular. I'm like, 7 seconds. That's about our attention span, I guess, now. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I guess then I look at it the other way of just how much they could actually go and convey in those 7 seconds.
Yeah, embrace our shortening attention spans.
Jam packet.
So much info.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Diablo, maybe?
Okay.
Oh, my 7 seconds is up. I'm sorry, I have to go.
Yeah, that was all from you. No, I think we might actually make it under 2 hours and avoid some YouTube problems here. Are we ready for items of the week?
I think we might be.
All right.
I'm really excited about these items of the week because they all, well,
both.
We'll see.
There's only 2 of them, but.
Well, they're excellent items because Nineball hates all of them.
Oh. I see why. Yeah.
I'm excited for his pain.
The first one was sent into us by Derek. It's a Hellfire Amulet, one of the few that actually rolled pretty well.
Yep.
So it's 733 dex, 7% attack speed, 80% crit hit damage, and a socket, and no rerolls.
And with the Night Stalker passive.
Yeah, that's. Although I think Mikey is going to say that since it has attack speed, it's useless, and that needs to be crit chance.
He's wrong, though.
He's wrong.
Sorry, Mikey's wrong before he even talked.
Yes, because this particular setup, I'm just going to go out there on a limb and assume that this one is going to be used for the lightning build that is currently really popular, which unfortunately isn't going to be that useful in patch 2.1.2, where you need to get attack speed on like an amulet or one of your rings, or both of your rings if you don't have it on the amulet, in order to hit the 4.1.5 breakpoint. And then that's also one of the only ones for the Marauders that you're actually attacking a lot with one of your skills, and gains a huge benefit from the Night Stalker passive, so you can stay permanently in Smokescreen. So this is just absolutely amazing for the current meta, but unfortunately will not be that great once we go into Season 2.
Gotcha. Good old breakpoints. Good old math. Remember having to do that with CM sets, having to get the math perfect. Anyways, the other item that Nineball might be super jelly of are these Tasker and Theos. There is no shortage of Tasker and Theos from our viewers.
Don't care.
All of our viewers have trifecta, perfectly rolled Tasker and Theos, except for Nineball. Yeah, so these rolled 636 strength, 7 attack speed. He re-rolled to get 45 crit damage, and they came with 8.5 crit chance. Did only get 41% attack speed, but can't complain.
Yeah, it's strength.
Yeah, that maybe you can't complain there. Yeah.
You know, I guess, congrats on finding your Tasker and Theos and sending them in. They even go through and say, sorry, 9-ball. Thank you. They're better than my non-existent ones, but yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Not bad. But I'm no longer salty. I'm no longer salty.
Oh,
Season
please.
2, they're useless. Season 2, they're useless.
Keep reminding yourself of that.
Yes, keep reminding myself of that. It'll be okay.
Oh.
It'll be okay.
Maybe he's a mortal king's barb. He needs his Call of the Ancients to be buffed. But that I don't even know if that works, I guess. Are those pets? Can people be pets?
I thought
Oh man, you're getting into a whole new territory there.
Getting deep.
But no, they actually, besides rights, they actually do count as pets. So
yeah, I was about
that
to say,
would
I thought that they did count towards it.
yeah, they're on the same level as like your bowman in the Crusader,
Ah, yes.
etc., etc.
There you go.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say as a budding demon hunter, I stepped out for a second there, but I'm really upset about that Hellfire because I got nothing even close to that good when I made my 6. I made 6, right? So like that's a big commitment because that's 24 keys from each freaking act besides Act 5, and then going through doing all those Ubers, which took some time, and then crafting all those things, which was what 60 Forgotten Souls. And I had nothing to show from it. I had the worst passives, I had the worst rolls. I'm mad. I'm
That
salty.
doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's completely random, right? Like,
All you get is the decks, and that's it. Everything else is left up to chance.
yeah, like I'm surprised we've seen so many decent ones on the show. I want to see. Maybe we should ask for people's like worst Hellfire amulets, and we can all just cry together.
That made me feel better. Or if they submit Hellfires, they have to state how many they rolled. Although, yeah, how many they rolled before they got that one. Although in that email, he said that was his 5th. I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
You should be.
Mm-hmm.
I have comfort wine though.
Yeah. Droth said in chat, "RIP wine bottle." I might have missed that. Did you down the bottle?
You cut the thing back to us 3. I thought I was safe, and it cut back as I was pouring the bottle.
That's pretty fun. No, I approve. Someone has to
Excellent.
drink tonight.
Right? Yeah, I'm drinking for 3. But I'm not. But I'm not pregnant.
That's good to hear. That'd be a whole new conversation. All right. Well, we are just under 2 hours, which is exactly how we planned it, because we script every show word for word.
That we do?
It's a lot of work we do for you guys. Lots of memorizing.
Mm-hmm.
Even this part of the script.
And timing the bathroom breaks and everything. Like, it's insane.
It's worked out. Had to get that camera switched just so we could catch the end of Leviathan's wine pour.
Mm-hmm. The other 6 days are us practicing this. So.
This is our life.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. It's our new theme again. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I cannot wait to see the YouTube comments on how bad I was this episode.
It was appropriate, though. It was the theme of the episode.
It was the theme of the episode. I have no idea where my mind was today. I am actually. I know we joke about it all the time, but I am actually legitimately sorry with how much I screwed up. I am bad, and I feel bad.
We're sorry.
You'll get to make up for it with your D2 prowess this weekend. That's the one thing I want to push at the end here. Is I'm super excited for Saturday. D2.
I actually am too. I'm ready to go for this. I think, and also just for those out there listening, I want to say we've only had 2 people submit in requests to join the party. So right now, we still have 3 open slots. So by all means, if you want to join us this Saturday, between 12 p.m. Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern for, I don't know, a couple hours at least, send us an email. If if we don't get enough email requests to fill the party, we will pull from the chat. But secure your spot now. Send us an email. I mean, if we go over 5, we'll just do a random drawing beforehand to go through and pick some people. Yeah, we definitely are looking forward to it, and I hope you all are too. It's kind of be a blast from the past, and we'll all be about an hour and a half into it and see who is the one guy that's picking up all the gold for us, because the rest of us forgot.
I'm pretty sure.
She just bought D2 last night, so
Nice.
damn, that commitment.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be the one guy that doesn't get any items because I'm so slow. I didn't play quite as much D2 as some of the people that'll it's probably either of you guys or the people who will be playing with us, but my click skills just aren't quite polished enough.
And Leviathan will be streaming, so it'll be right here on our regular channel. Sorry, Leviathan. God, I'm stopped talking.
Yeah, Leviathan might also stream.
Yeah, Archon will be streaming, so you'll be able to check us right here.
Yeah. Same
channel.
So yeah, and for anyone listening, just a reminder, it's twitch.tv/ArchonTheWizard. And Leviathan, you should probably just say your stream anyways, because everyone should be following Leviathan's stream too.
Right on. Yeah, we'll dual stream. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Rye bread.
Why not? And is it just Leviathan spelled like it is on the screen?
Mm-hmm. It's Leviathan 111 because I got to throw the numbers in there because I'm not unique. So Leviathan Leviathan 111 twitch.tv. You can get both perspectives. You can multi-Twitch. I think that's a thing. So I don't know.
That's true.
People figure that out.
Watch both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I may or may not stream if the rest of everyone else is going to be streaming. Why the hell not?
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Multi-stream that.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Any parting words as I begin the outro music?
It's been a good ride. I'm ready for season 1 to be done. I've had my fun, and now I feel like we've won the battle.
You're writing your next parody already, I think.
I got rhymes for days, son. There's a voice chat. We have raid call 6446420 for Westmarch Workshop. Yes, I'm so bad. I'm sorry. The WM Workshop.